Elizabeth Montgomery's quiet wardrobe choice on Bewitched, going braless during the later seasons, was far more than just a fashion decision. It reflected an evolution in both her personal outlook and the rapidly changing culture of the late 1960s and early 1970s. For years, she had played Samantha Stephens, the picture of the perfect suburban witch, graceful, elegant, and always immaculately dressed. But behind the polished magic tricks and twitching nose, Montgomery was a woman with a growing desire to express authenticity and freedom in a television industry that often dictated every detail of how women should look. The decision to appear without the typical restrictive undergarments of the time wasn't meant to shock. It was meant to breathe. It was her way of reclaiming comfort in a world that constantly demanded perfection from female stars. By the end of the 1960s, the world around her had changed dramatically. The feminist movement was gaining strength. Women were questioning long-held beauty standards, and television was slowly beginning to reflect that transformation. Elizabeth's natural style, her loose dresses, relaxed hair, and softer appearance, felt modern, alive, and human. She no longer wanted Samantha to appear as an unreachable fantasy of domestic womanhood. Instead, she wanted her to feel real, a woman who could love, laugh, and even rebel in small ways. And one of those subtle acts of rebellion was simply choosing comfort over costume. It was Montgomery's unspoken way of saying that women didn't need to be sculpted into someone else's ideal just to be beautiful. There were also emotional reasons tied to her personal life and her complex relationship with the show. By the later seasons, Montgomery had grown weary of the constant typecasting that Bewitched brought her. The endless repetition, the creative exhaustion, and her strained marriage to the show's director, William Asher, all took a toll. Some who worked with her believed her wardrobe changes were symbolic. Small, personal acts of independence in an environment where she had little control. Going braless might have been her way of quietly saying, "I'm done pretending." It was a shift from the neat, buttoned-up Samantha of the early years to a woman who was unapologetically herself. That confidence radiated through the screen, even if audiences couldn't quite explain why she suddenly seemed freer, lighter, more alive. At the same time, fashion itself was evolving. Across Hollywood and beyond, the 1970s brought a more natural, liberated look. Stars like Jane Fonda, Ali MacGraw, and others embraced softer silhouettes and comfort-first clothing, reflecting a generational break from the rigid, corseted styles of the past. Elizabeth Montgomery's choice fit right into that movement. She was ahead of her time, subtly signaling that women on screen could be natural and still command attention. She didn't need a perfect costume to shine. Her confidence and presence were more powerful than any wardrobe could contain. What made this decision even more fascinating was how understated it was. There were no interviews announcing her choice, no controversies stirred in the press. It was just a quiet shift, noticed by viewers, discussed by fans, but never sensationalized by her. That restraint made it even more authentic. Elizabeth never turned it into a statement. She simply lived it. Her comfort became her power, and her confidence made Samantha Stephens feel more relatable to a new generation of women watching from home. Over time, this small detail became symbolic of her entire career, a performer who balanced grace with strength, beauty with honesty, and magic with meaning. She never needed to shout to make a point. Her subtle choices, on screen and off, spoke volumes. Going braless on Bewitched may seem like a small thing today, but in the world of 1960s television, it represented quiet courage. It was a sign that Elizabeth Montgomery, even under the constraints of network television, found a way to be real in an industry built on illusion. And in doing so, she didn't just redefine Samantha Stephens. She helped redefine what it meant to be a woman on television.